Welcome back to Inherited Dawn, a One Piece podcast. We are breaking down chapter 215 today, and let me tell you, this is one for the books.
We're talking about a character we barely know, an enemy, putting everything on the line, not for treasure, not for a mission, but for a word, for friendship.
It's the kind of moment that defines this entire series. If you're the type of person who understands that kind of loyalty, who gets why someone would stare down an entire fleet for their friends, then you're already one of us. Go ahead and get subscribed. Join the crew.
Let's start at the beginning. We open not on the sea, but in the palace, with Igaram.
Right. He wakes up from this nightmare where Vivi just announces she's becoming a pirate, which is hilarious. He bursts into her room in a panic, ready to stop her.
It's such a perfect little comedic beat to start an otherwise incredibly tense chapter. It immediately sets the stakes for the palace side of the story. Igaram's greatest fear isn't another coup or an invasion. It's losing Vivi to the very people who just saved them.
And you get it. From his perspective, these are the wild, unpredictable pirates who just blew through his country. He's grateful, sure, but the idea of the heir to the throne running off with them, it's a security and political nightmare. But his nightmare is played for laughs because he's so over the top about it.
And instead of finding Vivi packing a bag for a life of piracy, he finds his wife, Terracotta, fitting Vivi into a formal gown. He gets absolutely demolished for bursting in.
Just completely wrecked. One panel KO. It's a classic Oda gag, the strong man being terrified of his wife. And then he walks out and King Cobra is standing there, also looking like he just got roughed up. Turns out he got the same treatment for peeking. I love it. Oda gives us this huge kingdom-ending crisis, and right in the middle, we get a moment about how terrifying a rightfully angry wife and mother can be.
It's a moment of domesticity that Alabasta hasn't had in years, and it's for Vivi's coming-of-age ceremony. Terracotta mentions it's been delayed for 2 years. This is such a crucial detail. It's not just a party, it's a milestone that was stolen from her by Crocodile.
That's a heavy detail. She was supposed to do this when she was 14. Think about everything that's happened in those 2 years. She went undercover in a criminal organization, saw her friends and allies fall. She fought assassins. She crossed a desert on the verge of death. She saw her entire country turn on itself. She stood up to a warlord.
She became a warrior, a strategist, a leader in a way that had nothing to do with her title, and now they're trying to put her back in the dress she was meant to wear before all of that. She even says it feels too tight.
Of course it does. How could it not be? You can't fit all that experience, all that growth, all that pain and resolve back into the shape of the little girl she was. That line is so simple, but it's loaded with symbolism. It's not just the dress that's too tight. It's the role itself. The idea of just being Princess Vivi again feels restrictive after everything she's become.
It's the central conflict of her character right now. The entire country is gathering to see the princess, but they have no idea who she is now. They're expecting the girl who left, the symbol of hope they remember, and they're about to meet the woman who came back. A woman who has seen the true face of the world and fought alongside pirates to save them.
And while all this is happening, this quiet personal drama in the palace, the Straw Hats are an absolute hell. The contrast is just brutal.
We cut to the port, and it is a nightmare scenario. They're surrounded. 8 marine ships in a formation specifically designed to trap them. It's a formation that's like a pincer closing in, and that's exactly what it is.
It's not just a brawl, it's a cage, a tactical cage. They can't run, they can't chase, they're just getting pounded from all sides. The Mary is taking damage, real damage. Chopper is trying to patch these holes from iron spears and he can't keep up. As a shipwright, this hurts my soul. The Mary's a tough little ship, but it's not a warship. It's not built to take sustained fire from a marine fleet.
The iron spears are a key detail. They aren't just firing cannonballs. They're using weapons designed to puncture and sink wooden ships. This isn't a random patrol that stumbled upon them. This is a calculated, prepared assault. They came here specifically to sink the Going Merry.
And who's leading this brilliant tactical maneuver? The two stooges, Jango and Fullbody.
I could not believe it. The hypnotist pirate from Syrup Village and the Iron Fist Marine dude from the Baratie. They're back. Luffy remembers Jango, which is amazing because Luffy barely remembers anything. But Sanji doesn't even remember Fullbody, which is the perfect insult.
It's the ultimate burn. Sanji wrecked this guy's entire life at the Baratie, got him demoted, and he doesn't even have the courtesy to remember his face. It's beautiful. But the crazy thing is, they're actually competent here.
It's a classic Oda move. No character is disposable. These two failed upwards into a position where they are a genuine threat. Their combined forces, under a competent commander we haven't met yet, are actually cornering the Straw Hats. It's a great piece of world building. It shows that even minor characters from past arcs are still out there, living their lives, and sometimes their paths cross with the Straw Hats again in unexpected ways.
Fullbody is bragging about his new moves, and Jango tries to do his hypnosis thing, but then bam, a huge hit on a marine ship.
It's Kurei, Mr. 2. He just rams his own ship right into the marine line, creating an opening. It's chaos. No one knows what's going on. The Marines are confused. The Straw Hats are confused.
Luffy immediately thinks it was Usopp and starts cheering for him, which is perfect. Way to go, Usopp. Awesome shot. And Usopp, of course, just rolls with it. Of course, you can count on me. He will never pass up an opportunity to take credit for something cool. But no, it's Mr. 2, and he didn't come alone.
His arrival is almost immediately overshadowed by a bigger threat. We get the name drop from one of Kurei's own crew, Black Cage Hina.
And the way Kurei reacts, he's terrified. He knows exactly who she is. He's screaming at the Straw Hats that this is their only chance to escape, that they have to take the opening he made and just go. He's not messing around. This is pure primal fear in his voice.
This tells us everything we need to know about Hina before we even see her. Smoker is a known quantity, a fearsome Logia user, but the fear Hina inspires in a former Baroque works agent like Kurei is different. It's the fear of someone who is inescapable. Her epithet, Black Cage, implies capture, not just defeat. She doesn't just beat you, she traps you.
The logic is sound. They're outgunned, trapped, and a fearsome marine captain is closing in. Everything in you is just screaming, go, get out of there. But Luffy just looks at him, dead serious, and goes, you can go. We're staying.
No hesitation, not a single flicker of doubt. And Nami immediately explains it. They have a promise to keep. They have to be at the eastern port. They can't leave yet.
This is the moment the chapter hinges on. Kurei cannot compute this. His entire worldview is transactional. He thinks it must be for treasure, for some big score. That's the only reason anyone in his world would take a risk this monumental. There must be some amazing treasure waiting there, right?
And Luffy, with the biggest, purest, most honest grin on his face, says, nope. We're picking up a friend.
And that one line just breaks Kurei's brain. He's an agent from a criminal organization built on deception, backstabbing, and profit. He fought the Straw Hats for his boss. He's a mercenary. The idea of risking certain death, of turning down a perfect escape route, all for one person, it doesn't make sense in his world. It's a foreign concept.
You can see the gears turning in his head. Oda draws him with this stunned, wide-eyed expression. This is completely new information for him. He's seeing a level of loyalty, a kind of value system that he probably didn't think was real outside of stories.
He just fought a brutal, ridiculous battle against Sanji. They had that weird moment of mutual respect at the end, but he still saw Sanji as an enemy combatant. Now he's seeing the why these guys are different, why they won. They operate on a completely different set of principles.
It recontextualizes everything for him. He's seeing firsthand what Vivi was fighting for and why. He understands now that their strength doesn't just come from their fighting ability, but from these bonds. It's a revelation.
Before we see what he does with that revelation, we get a quick cut back to the palace. The square is totally full. The entire kingdom is waiting. You can feel the energy, the hope of a nation that's been through a civil war and is ready to heal.
And Cobra goes to see Vivi one last time before her speech. He's stunned by how much she looks like her mother.
Such a quiet, powerful father-daughter moment. All the chaos of the kingdom, all the political maneuvering and the fighting, it all melts away, and it's just a dad looking at his daughter, seeing her all grown up and ready to take her place. It's so heartwarming and heartbreaking at the same time, because we know the conflict she's feeling.
This is the theme of inheritance again. Vivi inherited her mother's looks and her father's sense of duty, but the will she carries now,
the will to fight for her friends, is something she forged on her own journey with the Straw Hats.
But then Vivi says she has something important to discuss, and the look on Cobra's and Igaram's faces, they are bracing for the worst. The comedy from the beginning of the chapter comes crashing back as drama.
They're thinking the same thing Igaram dreamed about. She's going to say she's leaving. After everything they did to save the kingdom, she's going to go back to the sea. The tension there is just brutal. Oda leaves us hanging on that cliffhanger, letting us feel the weight of that potential decision.
It's agonizing. And then we're back on the water. Kurei has made his decision. That new information has finished processing.
And he has been fundamentally changed by it. The seeds of respect planted during his fight with Sanji have now fully bloomed into understanding and admiration.
He turns to his own crew and to the Straw Hats, and he gives this incredible speech. He basically asks, can you abandon a friend who is waiting for you and then go on living like nothing happened? Can you sit down and eat a meal knowing you left someone behind?
He's verbalizing the code that the Straw Hats live by, a code he just learned 5 minutes ago from a single line of dialogue. He gets it now. Completely. He has reverse engineered their entire philosophy. It's not about strength or treasure or ambition. It's about being able to look yourself in the mirror at the end of the day.
It's so powerful because it's a question he's asking himself as much as anyone else. Can I run away now that I know what they're fighting for? And his answer is no. I can't.
And then the plan unfolds. We see Kurei's ship and the Mary split off, heading in opposite directions.
The Marines spot the Mary heading away and think Kurei's ship must be the decoy. It's the logical assumption. The Straw Hats are the high-value target. The other ship is just a distraction.
But then they look closer. One of the Marines has a spyglass and sees the Straw Hats aboard Kurei's ship. He sees Luffy's straw hat, Zoro's green hair, Nami's orange hair, all of them. So they change their assessment. The Going Merry must be the decoy.
This is where Hina's reputation actually works against her. She's so confident, so sure of her own perception that she doesn't consider the alternative. She sees what she expects to see. The high-profile pirates on one ship making a break for it. She locks on with her binoculars, confirms it's Straw Hat Luffy, and orders her entire fleet to pursue. She's taking the bait.
They close in, Hina confronts them, and it's not them. The camera pans up and we see Kurei using his powers to look exactly like Luffy, and his crew are disguised as the other Straw Hats.
The ultimate misdirection. It's a brilliant plan that only works because of Kurei's very specific power and his newfound willingness to use it for someone else's sake. He weaponized his ability for friendship.
He played her perfectly. While Hina was chasing the fakes, the real Going Merry, now with way fewer people on board, turned around and is now heading back to the eastern port.
Nami says they have 3 minutes. The clock is ticking.
Kurei taunts Hina, tells her his crew are masters of disguise, and then he delivers the line that gives me chills every time I read it. He screams that, more importantly, they are friends of Straw Hat Luffy.
He claims that title. He doesn't say we helped him or we're allies. He says we are friends. He puts himself and his crew under that banner, a banner he's about to defend with his life.
He's not just Mr. 2 of Baroque Works anymore. In that moment, he sheds that identity. He becomes an ally, a friend, a nakama in spirit.
He played her perfectly. While Hina was chasing the fakes, the real Going Merry, now with way fewer people on board, turned around and is now heading back to the eastern port.
Nami says they have 3 minutes. The clock is ticking.
Kurei taunts Hina, tells her his crew are masters of disguise, and then he delivers the line that gives me chills every time I read it. He screams that, more importantly, they are friends of Straw Hat Luffy.
He claims that title. He doesn't say we helped him or we're allies. He says we are friends. He puts himself and his crew under that banner, a banner he's about to defend with his life.
He's not just Mr. 2 of Baroque Works anymore. In that moment, he sheds that identity. He becomes an ally, a friend, a nakama in spirit.
And he squares up against Hina's entire fleet, ready to fight, just to buy his new friends a few minutes. It is an absolutely super moment.
He becomes a legend right here. He finds his hill to die on, and it's for people he tried to kill just a few days ago.
He found something worth fighting and maybe even dying for. It's not about being a pirate or an agent. It's about being true to your heart. And his heart told him to save his friends.
As the Mary sails away, you see the crew looking back. Luffy, Chopper, Usopp, Sanji, they're all just in awe. They're watching this man, this former enemy, sacrifice himself for them. They promise they will never forget him.
And you know they won't. Luffy never forgets a debt, especially one paid so dearly. That kind of sacrifice forges a bond that can't be broken. He's one of them now, whether he ever formally joins or not. He has become part of their story forever.
Man, what a chapter. He went from a gag villain, a ballerina in a swan suit, to one of the realest characters in the series in the span of 20 pages? Oda's character work is just on another level. This is the kind of writing that makes One Piece special. It's not just about cool fights, it's about these profound moments of human connection.
It truly is. We also got Oda's author comment this week. He mentioned the Jump Festa and a 50 million yen One Piece stage show.
50 million yen. That's like $500,000 for a stage show in the early 2000s. I would have loved to see that. Oda says it was awesome and should be performed all over the country. He's always so excited about the things other people create for his series. It's just wholesome.
It's a nice little glimpse behind the curtain. Even while he's writing this incredibly tense, emotional, and pivotal chapter, he's taking a moment to appreciate a stage show and hype it up for his fans. It shows how much he loves this world and everyone who contributes to it.
That's our Oda. All right, before we get to predictions, let us know in the comments what you thought of Bon Kurei's sacrifice. Was that the moment that completely changed your opinion of him? Because it absolutely was for me.
It's hard to imagine anyone not being moved by it. Okay, predictions for Chapter 216. I'll start. I don't think Vivi is going to announce she's leaving. I think she's going to tell her father that Crocodile was a Shichibukai, one of the 7 warlords of the sea.
Oh, so she's not just going to talk about Alabasta's future. She's going to drop a truth bomb about the world government on a national stage.
Exactly. She learned that the system they trust is corrupt, that the very organization meant to protect them empowered the man who tried to destroy them. Her speech won't be about just rebuilding. It will be about rebuilding with eyes wide open. That's the important thing she has to discuss. It's a political bombshell.
I like that. Okay, my turn. The Straw Hats have 3 minutes. It's not going to be a clean ride to the port. Hina was tricked, and she's going to be furious. I predict she won't pursue herself, but she'll use her devil fruit power, the black cage, from a distance.
You think she has a ranged attack? We haven't seen her fight at all yet.
I think she can create bindings or cages that can travel. Her epithet is so specific. We'll see some kind of black iron bars shooting out of the water, maybe forming a lattice to try and block the Mary's path or trap it before it can reach the shore. It'll be a frantic race to dodge her attacks while the clock is ticking down. Bon Kurei bought them time, but the danger isn't over.
That would keep the tension high. For my second prediction, I think we're going to see Toshigi and Smoker again. They've been out of the picture for a bit, healing up after their encounter with Crocodile, but they're still in Alabasta. With Hina's fleet making such a scene at one port, Smoker will likely head to the eastern port to cut off the Straw Hats' predicted destination.
So they escape one trap just to sail right into another one. Smoker's not going to fall for any tricks. He's been chasing Luffy since Logtown.
Not a chance. He knows Luffy. He understands his stubbornness and his loyalty. He'll anticipate that Luffy needs to be at that specific port for a reason he considers important, and he will be waiting there for him, creating a final boss at the finish line problem for the crew.
My final prediction. We're going to get the reunion. The Mary will dock, battered and broken, just as Vivi is finishing her speech, but she won't see them at first. The crowd will be so huge. I think we'll get a moment where Luffy has to do something ridiculous, like use his Gum Gum rocket to launch himself over the crowd just to get her attention before it's too late.
A grand, public, and very Luffy-esque entrance. It feels right. He wouldn't just slip in through the back. He's not subtle.
Never. He's going to make sure his friend sees him. He kept his promise, and he wants her to know it. It won't matter that the whole kingdom is watching. All that will matter is that one person he came back for.